of outtakes. I like this.
Hey guys, so today I'm here with my friend Emily from EmilyBland, or it's Emily if you watch her daily vlogs, and
I make videos about my life in Berlin because I'm British and I moved here 3 years ago. So I make comparison videos sometimes and I make a variety of videos really. I'm an artist, so some videos are art videos. So yeah, that's me.
So since we both live in Berlin, we figured we would share a couple of tips with you if you've ever wanted to visit the city and things that you might want to do here and stuff. I know I always find it really helpful to watch a video and kind of get the feel for a city before I go there. So I hope you find this video helpful, and let's get on into the tips.
So first of all, we're going to talk about transportation, seeing as though you've got to get to Berlin somehow.
So you're probably going to go to Berlin via plane, and there's 2 airports in Berlin. One is called Tegel Airport, which is in the northwest of Berlin, and then one is called Schönefeld Airport. Is that the name?
Yes. That's one.
And it's in the south of Berlin, and you can get to both of them via S-Bahn and buses, I think.
Yeah, really easy, and it's like $3.20 for a ticket, is it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Emily actually has a whole video about the tickets and transportation system and everything in Berlin, so we're not going to go into detail on that. I'd highly suggest you watch that video. I will leave a link on her face right now so you can go and watch that. It's really helpful. I actually learned a couple of things watching that, which was really fun.
Even as a native German, yeah. You learn something. There's just one thing that we want to point out though, which I think is one of the most important tips in the video that I did, which is don't forget to validate your ticket.
Yeah.
It's something that maybe if you're not from Germany you're not used to, but you have to stamp your ticket once you've bought it, and if you don't do that then your ticket is invalid and irrelevant. So that's just one thing we wanted to share, but if you want more tips of course for the transport, don't forget to check out my video.
And then also we wanted to mention that the S-Bahn, U-Bahn and all of the things that you have in Berlin, they run all night on the weekend, and during the week I think they run until 1 a.m. but you always have the option of taking the bus, which runs all night, so that's really convenient and a good thing to know.
Yeah, you can always get about. If you'll be visiting sites here in Berlin, you might want to consider getting a welcome card. It's available for 24 hours, 72 hours and 5-day periods, and it includes your transport as well as 25% to 50% discounts on Berlin sites. And you also get a map of the city and a city guide, so it can be really useful for tourists.
If you want to know more about that, I will have a link in the description box to a site called EmilyBland88, and it's really helpful. They have lots of cool information on sites and tickets and everything, so if you want to know more about Berlin and the welcome card, I will have that in the info box for you. So let's talk about finding your way around in Berlin. I know it can be a bit confusing as there's no one city center. It's more that things are in different areas rather than a city center. So the easiest way to get around is probably by public transport, and I'd recommend you plan ahead and kind of look at what sites are in which area, and then you can take the tube to one area and then do your sightseeing by walking around there, and then take the tube to the next area and walk around there. But I find that that is the easiest way to get around in Berlin.
Yeah, definitely. And remember, you don't always need to get a train just for one station, because that's probably a walkable distance.
Yeah, sometimes it seems like things are very far apart on the map, but they're actually so close together, and lots of things you can do by walking there.
Yeah.
So
and I think it's good to explore and discover things when you're walking. You don't really see so much when you're underground on the train.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
if you walk, you see so much more. It's more fun, really. We're actually planning a series together where we're going to make videos and upload them on alternate channels, and the videos are going to be about our favourite routes and kind of areas for sightseeing in Berlin. So we hope that you guys might find that useful, and keep your eyes peeled on both our channels in the coming weeks and months for those videos.
Other than that, it's always nice to have some sort of app on your phone to help you get around. I personally use Google Maps for that, but I've also heard really good things about this app called CityMapper, and you can just type in your location and it will tell you the fastest route to get to the other location, and you can have different options for public transport or car or walking or biking even, and it's really convenient. Unless if you don't have data when you're out and about traveling, it's also nice to have an app. I think there's one called
CityMapper to go.
Yeah, which is really good, and you can just download it and you have the map on your phone, but you don't need data to actually use it, and still look at it, which is really nice.
Especially useful for tourists from abroad.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to talk about a few extra little tips that you might find useful. Firstly, you should probably get used to carrying cash in Berlin, because not all bars, restaurants and cafes and things like that take card payments.
Next, it's not necessary to tip in Germany, but of course it's always welcome to tip about 5 to 10% max.
Something else you might not know is that you sometimes have to pay to use the toilets here. That's always the case for public toilets, and it's even sometimes the case for restaurants and cafes where you're a customer. Surprising really, isn't it?
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
Something else you should know is if you ask for water in a cafe or a restaurant, you will usually be giving bottled water, and it's also sparkly. So if you want tap water, you have to ask for Leitungswasser.
Yeah, but then even if you ask for Leitungswasser, they still might even charge you for it.
Yeah, usually you have to pay for water, whatever kind it is, which is also very annoying. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
I apologize for my country.
On that note, don't forget it's usually table service here in Germany, so that means you should get used to taking a seat and waiting for the waitress or waiter to come and take your order, and then of course you pay at the end.
Something quite specific to Germany is also that you have to pay a deposit for the glass and plastic bottles that you buy at the supermarket.
The deposit is called Pfand, and you'll see it marked on your receipt underneath where the drinks are listed. After you finish with your bottles, you can take them back to the shop and get your deposit back. In certain clubs, you might also be expected to take your bottles back to the bar, and some clubs use a token system, so when you originally order your drinks, they give you a token and you have to keep the token in your pocket or your wallet or whatever, and then at the very end of the night, you give the token back and you get your money back. But then each time you finish your drink, you have to take the bottle back and show your token, and then they'll give you a new drink.
Let's talk about language for a moment.
Yeah, most Germans can speak English, especially younger Germans, but I think it's always polite to ask in German, sprechen Sie English, which is a polite
English?
Yeah, like a polite way to ask, do you speak English? Because I just think it's a little bit rude to assume that people speak English and to just start speaking English. Of course you can do that and people will continue to speak English with you, but I personally think it's just nice to ask. And then they'll probably say, yeah, a little bit, and then they're like totally fluent. That's the way it normally goes.
Yeah.
Germans are very modest about like their capabilities, and so they'll always say I can speak a little bit of English, but then really they're like totally fluent and they speak like Hanna.
No. Yeah, usually they can say quite a lot of things, but they have a very heavy accent, so be prepared for that. Everyone sounds like I do. Something else I wanted to mention is that if you're coming from abroad and you're not familiar with the weather in Europe or in Germany, that we do have seasons here, so you might want to look at the weather forecast and just prepare, because it can be quite cold here, and it can be quite warm in the summer as well. Sometimes we have heat waves and it gets really hot. It can be
up to 36 degrees Celsius in summer and like -10 in winter.
Yeah, you should be prepared for that.
Yeah, get your thermals on if you're going in winter.
So these were just a few tips that we have for tourists in Berlin. We really hope those are helpful.
If you guys have anything else to share, then please let us know in the comments below.
Also give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and head on over to Emily's channel because we actually filmed a video there as well. It's about 10 phrases that are helpful in Berlin, and it's really funny, so you should go and check that out. I will leave a link on her face right now and in the down bar. Also subscribe to both of our channels. I will have the links to those and everything else that we mentioned in the down bar, so you should go and check those out. And yeah, we really hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in our next video. Bye!
Yay! We did it!
Yeah.
Oh!
If you want to...
I don't know.
If you want to more...
It took you so long to build up the courage to try again, and then you did the exact same thing. Do you want me to say?
No.
How do I?